I got messaged so many times by so many people last week. The reason? Riot's MMO, what else would it be? But the funny thing about this is that just as I sobered up, others started getting hyped on their own. Did I cause this? Nah, it couldn't be me. Anyway, all of this started with the reveal of the Elder Dragon in Legends of Runeterra, which is essentially a massive legendary dragon that was put into a setting that canonically portrays this universe. The thing is, the Elder Dragon has been part of League of Legends for a while now. So not only are people excited to see its new appearance, but people are also excited to learn what is its story. So, without further ado, let's jump into all the new dragons that were revealed for this universe, and let's have a look at what is the hype around Elder Dragon all about. So, immediately upon looking at the Elder Dragon's level 1 art, we can see a raid. There is no denying it, it is a Demacian raid that is going after the Elder Dragon. And to be honest, it looks great. The thing is, even though everyone keeps bringing up the MMO, this thing in a gameplay setting would be really hard to pull off. Can you imagine what the game would look like from the tank's perspective? It would be just a tiny character that is staring at a massive claw of a dragon. Not to mention how goofy it would look because the dragon would be just squishing your tank. See, that's why in other MMOs, when a big fight with a dragon happens, the devs are trying to work around it, and it usually turns out to be pretty bad, so everyone just tries to forget about it. So yes, massive dragon fights are actually problematic, and they rarely work. But when they work, ooh, they are iconic. Anyway, let's have a look at the description of the Elder Dragon. Legend has it that this dragon is the oldest of all, that he is the king of all winged beasts. If we tame him, why all of this? What else could possibly stand in our way? The world will finally understand that man and dragon are stronger together. Yes, we know that a lot of Demacians are trying to research dragons and potentially befriend them. Best example would be Jarvan, I guess. But yes, jokes aside, it is possible that all of this may be related to the next teased champion for League of Legends, the Hatchling Royalty. Since it is supposed to be a royalty, we joked about it being the kid of Jarvan and Shyvana. But more realistically, it might be the draconic hatchling of the Elder Dragon. I mean, in this description, it is mentioned that the Elder Dragon may sometimes be referred to as the King. In which case, the link to the new League of Legends champion might be very much real. So next, let's have a look at the level 2. Heat without equal poured from the Elder Dragon's maw. A lot is leapt into flight. Stand fast, Volix cried. Hold your lines, the world will know us as the man who tamed the king of beasts. So yes, I know it may look like a massive raid. But don't worry guys, this is just Demacians trying to tame it. I wonder how many survived. And again, look at how tiny the soldiers are. There is no way Riot can turn the Elder Dragon into a proper fight. Not without some nightmares repeating. So yeah, I am kinda skeptical about that one. But I will say, it still looks awesome. Now, as was mentioned here, the Elder Dragon is considered to be the king of beasts. In this case, that would be referencing the dragons. Or maybe all beasts, I don't know, lions get to be the kings of jungle and I don't even think they live in a jungle. So of course, when the Elder Dragon arrived, it arrived with a lot of new dragons. A lot of these were revealed in the previous patch, which we have already talked about. These would be the Enraged Flame Spitter, a dragon in the Noxian territory that is currently fighting the Noxian armies, the awesome new Chemtech Drake flying around Zaun. We still have no idea who created it, by the way. Boldir of Blackened Ice, a dragon seemingly corrupted by the black ice that is not fully under the influence of Lysandra. Portia the Peculiar, a fairy dragon that is opening portals inside Bandle City. And Saphirsa, Scourge of the Deep, a watery dragon that is somewhere underneath Bilgewater. But of course, this expansion gave us more. Though first we have to mention Aladris the Gallant, one of the Demacians who are mentioned in the raid. to be clear, I was not always a dragon allegiant. Alaris here convinced me, the first time he saved my life. He taught me a lot, but the most important thing, there's no finer life than serving Demacia from the back of a dragon. So yeah, not much to mention here. That guy likes dragons, and he likes convincing other people to also like dragons. And the one he convinced is actually a separate card, which is the Dragon Allegiant, which people strongly believe is referencing a raid. I got a lot of messages about this one. You know, it pains me to admit it, old boy, but we can't tame him alone. We've done what we can already. I'll send words to the general, and with the might of Demacia behind us, we're sure to bring the fantastic beast to its knees. Yeah, I'm not sure if that's gonna work. Which also means that, yeah, now I'm not sure if it was a raid or just taming of a beast. Here it seems like maybe the taming didn't work and now they are just taking it down the old-fashioned way in one massive raid. I still don't know if Riot can turn it into a fight though. So instead, let's have a look at the other new dragons which we can possibly fight. Starting with the new kind of Targonian dragon. It's not one of the wingless serpents. This time, it is a lot more majestic. And it's called the Gentle Gem Dragon. Dragons can vary greatly in their temperaments as they do in their appearance. For species as prone to all-consuming destruction as infernal drakes, there are those equally protective of their families and environments, like the slow-moving, affectionate Gem Dragon. Yes, it should be obvious that in some way this one is related to all the gemmed goats. Who knows, maybe they were blessed by this majestic being. So of course people will call this one the Goat Dragon. But after this, we are getting into what a lot of the League players will be familiar with. The elemental drakes, such as the Cloud Drake. With thick tufted fur to insulate against the cold, this drake can reach much higher altitudes than most other dragons. Lively yet elusive, the drakes are usually spotted high overhead, wings cutting through the clouds as they jump from gust to gale. So, let's talk about the elephant in the room here. What's happening with the skull? Like, don't get me wrong, it looks cool. But it does feel a little bit out of place, doesn't it? I believe this could be a reference to one quite old story from Demacia. One where I believe Shyvana fought another semi-draconic beast that was described as being chimeric. That's the closest one that would fit this kind of description. But outside of that, I have no idea what's happening here. I mean, the description is all about it being preserved from the cold, and yeah, with the skull, I don't think it's gonna get cold. So what I do know, however, is that this is quite a unique turn on the design from League of Legends. Just like the Ocean Drake. A grand beast you are. There is joy in the skim of your claws over the waves. Should you ever decide to prey on more than fish and seabirds, I would be delighted to face you. The quote of none other than Neela. Yes, just like the Cloud Drake, the Ocean Drake looks amazing. I like this one so much more than the Cloud Drake. It is such a great upgrade over the League of Legends model. And now, not only do I want to see this one in the MMO, I also kinda want to see this one as a potential VGU for the one in League. Now, here's the thing. What I've shown you so far is kinda all the drakes we got. So far. Because even though this is all the drakes they could fit in this expansion, they already teased there is more to come. First of all, the Elder Dragon has its Primordial call, which again shows you the raw size of this beast. But besides this one, since this card, and oh god is this a card, is themed around the Draconic Blessings, which are the buffs you get for killing these dragons in League of Legends, all those blessings serve as an indirect teaser for what's to come. So first, let's have a look at the blessings of the drakes we already got. These would be the Chemtech Blight, buff of the Chemtech Drake, the Cloudbringer's Grace, which is the buff of the Cloud Drake we saw. There is also Oceanic Will, which belongs to the Ocean Drake. We also have Mountain's Vigor, which, yes, in case you forgot, the Mountain Drake has been part of Legends of Runeterra for a while. That was actually the first of the elemental dragons to join Legends of Runeterra. And yes, it also looks like a great potential upgrade for the dragons. But then we also got some teasers for those who are not in Legends of Runeterra yet. We got the Infernal Might, which is an obvious buff of the Infernal Drake. Now at first, I did believe that we didn't get the Infernal Drake because Noxus already got a Fiery Dragon in all of these packs. But then I realized that the Ocean Drake is sharing the theme with Sephirsa. So maybe the main reason is that they are just saving more dragons for the future. Especially if they can line them up with more new things in League of Legends. But the other teased dragon is also the Hextech Drake. This one got the buff Hextech Prowess, which unlike the Chemtech Drake has not appeared in Legends of Runeterra yet. And if it does, it's gonna bring up more questions. Like who the hell is actually building these things? But that would wrap up all the dragons that we know about. All of them look amazing, and some of them kinda weird and scary. But I would love to see all of these make it into League of Legends eventually. But honestly, League is probably too busy dealing with new items and more balancing now. Though to be fair, somehow they've been doing pretty well. But yes, I will admit that some of these did strongly tease raids. But those look more like raids of entire cities, not just a group of people that decided to kill a dragon for some loot. And yes, as I mentioned, I really wouldn't be surprised if all of this was leading into the teased champion for League of Legends. It now definitely sounds like the child of the Elder Dragon, which sounds like quite a champion with a potential. Though remember that as Riot originally worked on Shyvana, they realized they can't just give her a proper dragon model, because it just didn't work with how units work in League of Legends. It would simply be too elongated. But that problem might not be happening here, because that champion is supposed to be tiny. So maybe that will save it. But that's not even what I am afraid of the most. I am afraid of the two other teased dragons. Because after seeing you guys lose it with the MMO hype over the Elder Dragon, after the Targonian Dragon teased how ferocious and insane the Infernal Drake is, I need to get ready for round 2 of this hype.